And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. Team Liquid taking on Mouz Sports in a North American versus Europe showdown. And I'll tell you what, man, Liquid just keeps on rolling. They put on a fantastic performance early on in our first series of the day. They went 2-0 over Empire, who, in fairness, was debuting for the first time. Their brand new squad featuring the 3 new members. But they've kept it rolling here again against Mouz Sports. Mouz also getting accustomed to a new name on their roster. Syndrin, of course, joining up and replacing Alex not too long ago. But Liquid just made it look easy. And to be honest, I felt like they were even more methodical than they needed to be in that game. 30 minutes is the game time it took for them to close out game 1. Feel like they could have even done it quicker if they really wanted to. Mouz, though, going to be looking to bounce back, turn the bagel into a breadstick, and give us a game 3. I'm AC, joined by Merlini for the broadcast. And, I mean, we've talked about it. We talked about it before the broadcast and during the cast that we've had of Team Liquid so far today. What do you even do? They're just so good at applying pressure and at creating space on the map to open things up for their playmaking supports and for their carries. It just seems like it's so hard to beat them if they're able to get their hands on heroes that they're capable of using.
It seems like they always win the Lifestealer lane. I think Lifestealer should be an option for one of the first bans. You can, there are possible solutions to bat. Perhaps if you have a Nyx to shut him down, you can have a Quap lane versus him. There are some solutions that you can have for bat. SD for defensive and offensive disrupts. And you can try and lane crush Wisp. Those are the 2 bans that Mouz Sports have had. But again, Lifestealer, we've seen Liquid pick them up so many times already today. A couple times in the earlier series versus Empire, and they picked them last game, and now first pick this game. So they've had a lot of success with Lifestealer, and TC plays an incredible Lifestealer. That's pretty much automatically one lane one for Liquid, and you never want to start a game knowing that you're going to already lose one lane unless it's your sacrificial lane. But like whatever lane Lifestealer is going to be, they're going to win that, and that just leaves so much room for the supports of Liquid to just run around and take control of the rest of the map. And we see Mouz Sports pick up a Nature's Prophet and a Clockwork. Clockwork was one of their first bans last game, and them choosing to pick it first is, again, probably gives a lot of credit to Bulba for just playing extremely good Clockwork. That's sort of deny pick there.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I can't remember the last time I saw Mouz play a Clockwork. I don't know that I've seen them play a Clockwork anytime in the recent past. But, I mean, look at Liquid's lineup. This is what they do. They've got their hero for Bulba. They've got their hero for IX Mike. Again, I want to say this is the 4th straight game IX Mike's going to be on Shadow Demon. I'm almost positive it is. And I am positive it's a 4th straight game for Lifestealer for TC. So, I mean, they have, again, the same versatility. They can run the Darkseer mid. They can run an offensive tri lane, a defensive tri lane. They can try to isolate the Lifestealer one-on-one against the Nature's Prophet. He does quite well in that case. And I'll tell you what is so damn tough about trying to draft against Team Liquid is they're going to go ahead and grab a gyro. I like that, and I'll get to that in a second. But when you look at what Liquid already has, what do you ban now? You can't possibly ban Puck, Storm Spirit, and Queen. I mean, you can ban all 3 of those. If you do, you leave a Magnus in if they want to take that mag and send it mid under the care of Bulba. And then you can just switch someone else to Darkseer, because Darkseer is one of those heroes that we'll actually see Liquid ban it out. But the idea is there's so much you want to try to get rid of. You want to try to get rid of other supports that synergize well with the Lifestealer and Shadow Demon to try and prevent a really potent offensive tri lane. But if you dedicate one of those bans to one of those supports, all of a sudden Liquid has the opening to take a Puck, a Storm Spirit, or a Queen of Pain, which synergize with the Lifestealer in their own way. And there's still so many supports anyway that Liquid's probably going to be able to put together whatever kind of lane they really care to. So just so hard whenever Liquid always drafts this very strong core right up front. So damn hard to cope with it in terms of the second ban phase.
Yep, and there is the TA to worry about too. There's just so many heroes to worry about. First, it was just, okay, we can ban Puck, we can ban Quap, we can ban Storm, and then after the first game, we've seen like Skywrath just like completely crush in the series versus Empire, and they're like forced to ban so many heroes, and you just can't ban them all. So again, I think they just have to resort to playing a little bit different style, and Wisp means that it's pretty difficult to aggressive tri lane with Wisp, and we see Liquid likes to run aggressive tri lanes, and if they do that, they could possibly punish them, and they need to find some sort of weakness in Liquid's playstyle and or lineup so that they can get some sort of foothold in the early game.
Completely agree with you, and gotta admit I'm a little surprised. Liquid actually just saying, you know what, we're not worried about it. We have in mind and we feel confident. We're going to go ahead and ban out heroes that would work as options for us just because we don't want to take a chance on you getting one of them. We could see Mouz taking out the Skywrath Mage, now the Leshrac, of course, not wanting to let him pair up with Shadow Demon, Disruption into Split Earth, one of the most potent level 1 combos in the entirety of the game, especially when you add in Lifestealer's Open Wounds to prevent any kind of a retreat. So, I mean, right now it's very cerebral, both teams feeling each other out, but, you know, you don't want to count out Mouz Sports. They are a team, again, who does thrive in the underdog role. They're a team that is very vastly underestimated in a lot of cases, I feel, because they are able to hang and bang with just about any team in the West on any given day. And they do manage to usually have a break-even record despite playing against teams like Liquid, Empire, or for old Empire, I should say. Obviously, Empire not as strong as they used to be, but Liquid, Na'Vi, Empire in the old days, and Alliance, so on. But anyway, what they're going to want to do here, when I look at them, they have a team that seems like it wants to fight and at least try to open the map up early. Clockwork, a hero who really does excel at taking over a game earlier on rather than later. Gyrocopter with the mass amount of damage he can bring to bear in terms of rocket barrage if used in the right context and call down, along with Clockwork's cogs. I mean, Mouz Sports has a team that should be capable of fighting.
I'm really scared for Black, though. Black has had a lot of trouble farming last game, and again, I think this game he's going to have a lot of trouble farming. They don't even ban any of the Black heroes. Last game they banned Anti-Mage as well as Alchemist, but this game they didn't opt to do either. And I guess they're just not scared of it at all. And I don't think they should be. They have Lifestealer. Lifestealer is really great versus Alchemist. They have Shadow Demon, so there's no setup stun for the Alchemist. And Shadow Demon kind of counters AM and PL. So those are 3 Black heroes that are already pretty much out of the question just from the draft. And you don't even have to ban them is the scary part. And we saw how poorly Luna worked out for them. So what is Mouz going to pick for Black? I mean, it could be the Gyrocopter. I don't see him play Gyrocopter that much, though. I have seen him run PL without keeping it light, but again, there is a Shadow Demon, so I'm just wondering what they're going to do for Black and how they're going to secure his farm, because that is one of the most important things. If Black gets farm, Mouz tends to win. If they don't, then Mouz tends to lose. It's as simple as that.
Chen going to be the 4th pickup by Team Liquid. We'll see fluff on Chen, no doubt about it, which means at this point, one would guess that the only person missing a hero is going to be Korok. So they'll be looking to get a mid here. And, looking at Mouz, again, I could very well be wrong. Maybe I'm just having a brain cramp. I just don't know that I've seen Mouz run Clockwork. I don't know who's going to play him. Feta usually plays on a lot of the Playmaker heroes. Koikva, I have no doubt, will be back on the Prophet. And Mouz consistently first picks Prophet just to get Koikva that hero. That's one of his best heroes in the entire pool. But like you said, Black... I think they're going to pick another hero for Black. I really do. What I think might happen, I was going to say they may pick another mid and then run the Prophet in the jungle, the Clockwork in the off. I honestly don't know. I'm going to stop guessing just because seeing the way this works out. Now, Fate is there. Maybe Syndran's going to end up playing the Clock.
I'm worried for Mouz's lanes to begin with, too, because if they have Queen of Pain solo mid, Clock solo off, that means they have a really weak lane. We saw Gyrocopter be constantly pressured by Liquid's Lifestealer triple lane in the previous series, and I have no reason to think that they won't do the same thing again. And especially with the Nature's Prophet babysitting, that's just going to be a lot of trouble. And Liquid, if they get early momentum, they just run away with it. And even if you keep it close, they'll just keep applying pressure and keep applying pressure all throughout the game. And if you don't want to get off to a bad start, because if it's 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 at the start, they're just going to keep extending that lead and keep applying pressure everywhere around the map, which is going to be very bad for my Team Mouz.
The Chen pickup does confound things a bit. We can confidently say, fairly confidently anyway, that not likely to be an offensive trial and right out the gate, though Liquid is one of the few teams that I've seen once in a while reach down and go, you know what, we're going to run Chen in the enemy jungle. That's fine. They don't do it a lot, but they have done it before. In fact, whenever they tend to do that, they do it with an Enchantress instead of a Chen. And they had their pick of the litter, so I would imagine this will be a defensive trialing with Darkseer setting up shop in the off lane. But what will end up happening is they'll rotate fairly early. You'll probably see Chen plus a Shadow Demon move under cover of smoke either to mid or up to the top lane to try and make a gank happen, maybe even teleport another hero up or just send the mid, as the case may be. And that's, wow, okay, so Windrunner's going to be the pickup here. That could be a mid Windrunner.
Yep, that looks like a Korok hero. Mm-hmm. They do have the option of doing an offensive triple, though. The thing about Mouz Sports is, again, they don't have a really good Clockwork player. So if they choose to do like a Darkseer Shadow Demon, triple lane off lane, they could successfully run that because it takes a really skilled Clockwork to try and limit Lifestealer's farm, and especially one as skilled as TC. He's going to farm almost certainly in the safe lane, and then they can. It's a little bit difficult in the dire jungle, but we have seen it run successfully. I expect them to do it just because of their weak early game with Nature's Prophet and Gyrocopter. Again, Liquid likes to exploit teams' weaknesses, and just look at their lineup, you can tell they're going to be weak very early. Gyrocopter, no defensive abilities, and Nature's Prophet, very bad at helping his team in the very early stages of the game.
Veda is going to be on the Queen of Pain. Let's see. Yeah, Black. I'm going to be honest. I'm really worried for Mouz. This is a lineup. Pos is going to be playing on the Clockwork. And, I'm thinking back, maybe I did see him play a clock once in a while, but just the way these lanes are going to end up working out is going to be very problematic. Koikva likely to wind up in the jungle. Pos tends to run in the off lane for Mouse Sports, so that's going to be an extremely weak lane. They're banking on the fact that Chen is going to be in a defensive posture for Liquid, but Liquid is a team who has no problem just pulling the trigger and saying, you know what, screw it. I think we're strong enough. I think you're going to have enough of a problem coping with us that we're going to run an offensive tri-lane anyway. And we've seen them do that before. We've seen them just give us an odd combination and make it work. So either way, game number 2 just about to get underway as we do load in. I want to thank each and every one of you. And of course, be it morning, evening, or afternoon, thank you from the bottom of my heart for making us a part of your broadcast day. Hope you're enjoying your time here on Curse Entertainment. Make sure you hit follow. That way you can catch the rest of the Curse Invitational throughout the next couple of weeks, to say nothing of the fact that you ought to follow Merlini and myself on Twitter as well. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE, and on Twitch. My personal stream is twitch.tv/ACTV. And where can they find you, Merlini?
They can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/MerliniDota, and Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the same. I have channels on all three /MerliniDota.
Maybe I should start promoting my Facebook too. I have a Facebook too. I do. It's ACTV. Same thing. But anyway, back to this. Looks like we're not going to have any action early, so I'll run through our lineups. We got TC farming the Lifestealer, 4th game in a row. Korok will be taking the Windrunner mid. Going to have Fluff, as anticipated, playing on our Chen, who is riding on Buttercup. I really want that mount. Bulba going to be playing on our Darkseer once again, with IX Mike for the 4th game in a row, handling the Shadow Demon on the other side of the river. Syndran going to be playing on our Twin-Headed Dragon, also known as Jakiro. We're going to have Koikva on the Nature's Prophet for the 2nd game in a row. Veta looking to make plays out of mid on the Queen of Pain. We're going to have Pos handling the Clockwork Goblin, with Black farming up the Gyrocopter.
So a little bit unusual in the support Clockwork, but Pos does play the support role quite often. And Koikva, I don't know if he's going to start off in the jungle or in the off lane. Most likely in the jungle, though, considering where Liquid's position is right now. They have Liquid, Fluff in the bottom lane, as IX Mike is sitting mid, just trying to scout out Mouse's lanes. I think they had some vision here and probably saw the Clockwork as well as the Black, so they know where their offensive tri-lane is and may choose to smoke rotate as soon as Chen gets one creep.
Now, see, this is problematic for me. I mean, Bulba, yeah, he's going to be, have a little bit of trouble and all that. He's not going to be completely terrified or anything. But, we talked about it the last time we saw Bulba dominate a game as a Clockwork. This time he's up against him. One of the key things about a Clock, whenever you really want him to be at least on level, the further ahead he is, he can just take a game over. Problem with Clock, though, is he is not a hero who can really play from behind very well. Whenever he doesn't get a lot of experience, whenever he falls behind 2 or 3 levels off of the lead carries on the other team, all of a sudden, you have a hero who just, he can cog, and that's great, but then he just dies, and there's not a whole lot more he can contribute. His hooks become basically suicide packs. And Bulba going to eat the Dual Breath. Syndran actually skilled Dual Breath instead of Ice Path. And good body blocking might make this first blood. And, oh, there's the Disruption. Not enough, though. Disruption came out. They will get a return kill on Pos. So at the very least, they pay it back. But they picked their time nicely. Mouz making that happen just as Liquid was rotating up to help.
And looks like Koikva is going to contest TC in this bottom lane. I really like the play from TC here. What he did, and I just don't want to miss any action on top. What he did for the first wave, he actually dragged the creep from here all the way to here. So he actually picked up almost a full level from the Satyr camp that was there. So just making the most of his lane.
More damage being done. Bulba gonna be there to help clean that up. Actually, Chen gets that kill via Test of Faith. Black, unfortunately, found himself amidst too many enemies. And this is one of the nice things. This is something that you rarely get a chance to talk about just because it's rarely all that relevant. But in the early laning phase, if you're gonna run an offensive tri-lane with the Chen, Chen or Enchantress both actually really mitigate a lot of the advantages of a gyrocopter in the early laning phase because of their creeps. Their creeps are just one or two more targets for Rocket Barrage to be split among. And the creeps eating that damage is fine. So if you've got one or two creeps and then your whole team there, all of a sudden Rocket Barrage at levels 2 and 3 just is not that scary. Quakefun now going to eat some damage. He will be able to make it away. TC just going to heal up off of it in the meantime. But Liquid making this work for them once again. And again, this is just what they do. They just roll into lanes and they just do so well in particular in the laning phase.
Yeah, even with the early first, but they got a rebuttal kill on the Clockwork, and again, they're just trying to put a lot of pressure on this. They contest the creep pool, and they're just doing everything they can to shut down Black.
TC just manhandling Quakefa. Quakefa's doing the best he can. Doesn't have his single set of boots up. Instead went Bassy. So unable to do the phase harass that we've seen be pretty effective in a Prophet versus a Lifestealer before. And TC does go ahead and salve himself up. Now they're going to move towards mid. Now Feta only has 1 point into his blink. Let's see if Korok's able to start this off. 2 points in the power shot. That's a lot of damage if he can line it up. And here we go. There's the blink force. He's going to immediately bottle. Chin's Centaur going to spot him out. There's the power shot. Does the damage. There's a disruption. And the Centaur will be there. Perfect timing as he's locked down once again. Could not have executed it better. Liquid adds another kill to the total. However, it did cost them Mike, so they end up exchanging 1 for 1. Bulba now may be in trouble. Ice Path laid out expertly by Synderen. Bulba tries to give the old end around, but slowed down. He is tanky enough. He might just get away, though. And yeah, now in the same time, Darkseer actually killed Jakiro. The creep with the Ion Shell, as he was retreating and barely surviving, actually got a kill. So that makes it 4-2 for Liquid now. Little bit of bad luck for Mouz.
What a player Bulba is.
Isn't he, though?
Just so strong.
That's just what Bulba does, man. I stand by it. I think Bulba might be the best Clockwork in the West. You know, it's... And yeah, I know he's not on clock now, but just in reference to what you're talking about, he's a playmaker from hell. He's a terror to deal with. But especially on heroes like Darkseer and like Clock in particular, two of his better, he is just true top-tier talent.
And the mid lane, actually very low creep scores from both sides. Only 15 for Queen of Pain and 11 for the Windrunner. I believe Quap has the slight upper hand in this matchup, but both of them really lacking on the last hits. TC almost doubling it with 30.
See, Mike rotating over. Quakefa once again forced out of lane. Black's back healing up as well. He got very, very low. Almost died to the Ion Shell of Bulba as well. Speaking of Bulba, dude is hanging out with 35 hit points. Probably time to head on back to base, and so he will. We're 5 minutes in, 6 kills on the board, 2/3 of those belonging to Liquid. Do not like the look of the gold graph this early, but I'm going to. Yeah, that's what I expected. Before a single tower goes down, 1,000 gold advantage for Liquid, and 2,000 experience. That is truly significant.
And TC is just getting free farm. Every game he gets free farm, and it is going to be huge trouble for them 10 minutes. And he has like phase and armor usually in that 10-minute phase, and that is just such a pain to deal with.
Yep.
Lightstealer is enough of a pain in the butt to deal with as is, but if you just give him free farm, he's just that much more worrisome. Bulba will get sprouted on top.
There's a nice path to follow it up. Now going to surge away. Gets caught with the cogs, though, and the damage. Up, Surge runs out. He's bottling. Trying to get himself in a decent position. Lifestealer does take a tower down in the meantime. Bulba will be cleaned up. And Korok now taking some damage as Feta... Oh, nice shackle. Can he go 1 for 1? The wand charges are there. They end up going double KO style as the tower finishes off the quad before she can blink. 6 minutes in, we have action everywhere on the board. This bottom lane, though, becoming the story as Liquid not giving up the ghost. Here comes a TP to try and prevent anything. It is going to be Koikva, only 2 points into his Nature's Call. So only going to get so many of them. The rest of them seem to be rotating. Synderen with a couple of illusions making his way over. This is going to leave Black alone to farm, and Bulba making his way back up will hook up with Korok. So Korok going to look to make something happen with a gank here in top lane.
Yep, and Liquid actually managed to not lose that tower. Very, very important for them. Only 256 HP and no glyph yet.
What a shackle. Both of us said it at the same time. What a shackle. Shackled him off of a creep. That's just one of those moves where, yeah, you just draw a smiley in all chat after that. Very well played by Korok to set that up. 6-4, a very important high-profile kill, taking Gyrocopter off of the map. And TC just going to work. The farmer that he is, he's got 1,100 gold in the bank already. And Mouz is trading blow for blow pretty well. The problem is they're just not getting the real clutch kills that Liquid needs. Like killing the Darkseer, that helps a lot. Problem is, Bulba's going to make up ground. Killing off that Gyro, and against, especially when you're a Team Liquid squad that loves to play that aggressive, that's just so much more valuable.
Liquid's really efficient about the map, though. TC 0-0-0, but they're making so much happen with their other 4 heroes that he has all the space in the world to farm, and Mouz is struggling to get in the game, even in this 4-on-5 combat. So once TC starts joining the fights, I'm really scared for Mouz.
Liquid once again under cover of smoke, almost spotted out by Synderen. They came so close, and now Synderen's going to wander up. Oh, bad place to be, little man. There's a disruption. The Ursa's right there, and see you back in the well. Actually throws out the Ice Path, buys a little bit of time, but Fluff is there to secure the kill. In the meantime, Queen of Pain picks up an Invis Room. We'll see if she wants to put it to use anytime soon. Again, Pos. Pos isn't level 6 yet. I mean, it's 8 minutes in, so he could honestly be in a lot worse shape. But he is just a non-factor right now, other than 1 or 2 good cog lays that have kind of screwed Bulba, which, I mean, yeah, that's about all you can do with the Clockwork at this stage. But he's going to continue to be a non-factor. The problem is he's beginning to fall behind into that 2-3 level zone that we talked about, where he really just starts to feel impotent.
Yeah, it looks like Mouz really wants to get this top tower. They definitely need the tower goal to get back in this game, and they're already pressuring it. There's already Tree and Summon and 3 heroes up there. I don't know if Liquid can defend this.
Tower already pretty far down. Yep, Prophet will take it. Here's the TP. TC gonna be caught right in the cogs. Loses his entire mana pool as he comes down and catches it twice. Now we're gonna have Fluff caught out and will be killed off by Feta. That's a nice kill for them to get. The Creeps looking for some revenge, but doesn't look like, yep, the Ursa will end up dying, so it doesn't look like they can put it to too much use. The Satyr, not even gonna try to pursue it out. 7-5. Mouz is hanging as best they can. We do have a brief disconnect. Hopefully Fluff will be back shortly. But you got to hand it to him, man. This game was in danger of being another one where it might get away from them early, but they have managed to cut down that gold deficit. It's now down to below 2,000. The experience a little bit more manageable now at just about 1,500.
And this is one of the reasons why teams don't run support Clog, just because he can't really do that much. He's such a defensive hero unless you can trap heroes in the Cog, but I haven't seen him trap Bulba yet in the Cog. He does have 2 points in the Surge, so he's quite a difficult target, but once he gets level 6, he'll start becoming a lot more useful.
Clockwork's definitely one of those heroes where you need to play him consistently. I mean, there are some heroes you can pick up and play pretty much no matter what. I mean, Anti-Mage is one of those heroes. He just has, I mean, there's not a whole lot to him other than just the basic way the hero functions. And Jakiro's kind of that way. You can just pick him up if you're a professional Dota player. And just understanding, I mean, your mechanics are going to be great if you're a professional player, so it doesn't matter. I mean, taking time away from the hero doesn't hurt you quite as badly. Clockwork's not that way. Clockwork's a very counterintuitive hero in a lot of ways, and does take some time and practice. And again, I have no idea how much Pos has played him. But so far, not the biggest influence on the map as a whole. We're coming up on 10 minutes. And Liquid now stabilizing a little bit, but I would imagine we'll see them begin to pour some pressure on sometime soon. Take a look at Shin's inventory. He's very close to a mech, only about 300 gold away. Windrunner has a set of phase up, and doesn't look like she's going to be going for anything too big right off the bat. Darkseer has 1,000 gold in the bank, hasn't put it towards anything. Mike pretty well broke on the side of the Queen of Pain. She's beginning to bank her gold up. She's got a set of treads and a null talisman. The Clockwork is broke as a joke. Gyrocopter. He's hurt. He's got a Bassi as well as a set of treads. Maybe wants to go ahead and build that into an Aqualay, given he already has the circlet.
And the Quick Vote's keeping in on top.
Bulba gonna be caught with a hook. There you go, Pos making plays as best he can. Another very good kill for Mouz. And, you know, this is the downside to the style that Liquid plays. Whenever you want to seize control of the map, you need to try to keep control of the map. And right now, Mouz is beating them at their own game, closing that gap even more and killing off a hero they definitely want to keep down as long as they can.
Yeah, gold graph is actually pretty close now. Only 1,000 in favor of Liquid right now. XP graph about the same. And this is with 1 tower down. So the tower count is even for both sides. And again, just slightly in favor of Liquid. Kill count and gold and XP.
Given where things were, that's a definite win for Mouz. They're closing the gap admirably. Koikva will be getting a Midas. He'll have it up here in about 100 gold. If he doesn't die, should have it very, very soon. But looking at the last hits, we can see TC, as expected, is a monster. He's way up near the top. He's got 78. His armlet is effectively done now. Yeah, his armlet is complete for all intents and purposes. So he's going to be able to start to fight very, very soon. Now, when I look at Liquid's lineup, his preferred method of entering these fights, what do you think? Is he just going to be surged in by the Darkseer, or is he going to try to ride with somebody?
I don't know. Maybe a smoke in. I don't think he needs to ride with anyone, though.
Was thinking maybe jumping a chin creep. How's that?
That'd be pretty sneaky. Usually you want to save that, though, for a nice heal mid-fight.
Nice shackle again off of a front creep. Now the open wounds is going to be there. Korok pursuing him out. He's going to pursue him right into a lot of trouble. Eats a Sonic Wave, but kept alive just barely. There's Chen using Hand of God. Not going to bail him out. Caught a bunch with the cogs, and now the re-engagement. Demonic Purge used on Coinfer. There's a call down that's going to catch Mike for sure. He's down. TC now trying to rage through this really sloppily executed fight for Liquid. Buybacks there from Korok, and Black from downtown caught with the shackle. Power shot does damage. Infest is there to help clean him up. Macro Pyre goes down, but doesn't really do much. And Liquid going to be able to limp away, breaking even here. And I'm really surprised that didn't go worse than it did. Korok did have to buy back, so you can't even say they really broke even. But still, 8-8 as the dust settles. Again, a very sloppy fight out of Liquid. Just helter-skelter. Their movement was bad. And as good as the shackle was to start that engagement, the follow-up was rather sluggish.
And Fata managing to escape with his life just barely, though, getting a lot of focus from Liquid. Very important that he stays alive. He's very close to his level 2 ultimate, which is devastating for the weak support heroes.
Very much agree. Especially, I mean, looking at the way Liquid, I mean, you look at the magic damage output from Mouz, it is considerable with Jakiro's full array, and now we're going to see Korok eating some damage. But TC and Mike are there to help ward off any further aggression. But how important right now, if you're in Team Liquid shoes, how important is getting up a pipe?
They definitely need one, but it's going to be a long way coming. Darkseer is actually opting for a point booster first. Well, this is very, very unusual from Darkseer. Last game we saw him go Arcane Mech into a Scythe of Vice, and Fluff opting to pick up the mech this game. But he's level 7, only 1 creep. I don't know if they have enough firepower to take down this tower. Looks like Queen of Pain is going for an early Orchid Rush, hoping for the 14-minute rune on bottom. Yes, he will pick up Illusion, and he is very, very close to level 11, and that will probably stop the push right in its tracks if he hits a good one.
14 minutes in, 16 kills are on the board. Black is finally finding his farm. He has gone Aqualay and added an Ogre Club to his inventory, so he will be going with a defensive build, looking to get up a BKB before he builds any kind of damage. As you mentioned, Fato with the quarterstaff already in the inventory, going to be looking to find himself an Orchid Malevolence sometime very, very soon. Very important item, especially if you can use it on a Darkseer, on a Lifestealer. Just get the jump on him, get on top of him, silence him out. Fluff with his mech done. You know, and again, I'm a little surprised with you as well, so far as the Darkseer. Understanding he wants to tank up, but really would have liked to see a pipe rush. You know, against the magic damage output Mouz has, a pipe coming out earlier on in the mid-game can make all the difference.
Yep, and they really need the early pipe mech to try and take down towers. Chen is already starting to lose his effectiveness. He is level 8 right now, but again, there's only one T1 tower down, which is very unusual for a Chen's team 15 minutes in. And looking at the XP earned, they're starting to fall behind. Mouse actually in favor by about 800 or so, and gold graph very close to 0.
Yep. Very, very good job of Mouz to weather the storm. They were under assault pretty heavily. This game looked like it might get away from them if they weren't careful, but they held on just long enough. Have not really felt the presence of a Chen all that much of late. You know what I mean? It's so far.
For me.
Yep, I see you. You're here. It's I can hear you. Hopefully everything's okay. But TC in the meantime will be engaged upon, but able to. Oh no, he actually cancels the TP after the rage. That was a little goofy. He will go ahead and be caught by an Ice Path. Here's the call down. He has Rage up in 2 seconds. Will it be enough? He does use Infest. He has Rage right now if he wants to spend it. And nope, not going to. Yep, there it is finally. But anyway, that was just bizarre. He could have very easily TP'd away for free.
This is where you really need the move speed build from Black. I know he likes the more defensive build so he can stay alive and farm more, but sometimes you do need the move speed from Phase Drums. We see the same build that was gone by one of the Empire players, just a Trez into straight BKB. Very defensive build, but makes you unable to chase down heroes. Just TC doesn't even have his drums, he just has Phase and can run away with Rage, no problem.
would imagine Liquid's going to get active soon. I really do feel like this is not Liquid Dota. Liquid likes to play much more high octane. And now Fade under cover of an invis. Looks like Fluff might end up dying here. He's got 3 good creeps. He's got 2 Wildkin Rippers and 1 Dark Troll Warlord. Or, excuse me, Summoner. Because we apparently couldn't say Warlord anymore. But they are going to smoke up now and try to make their way to a target. As you mentioned, the fact that only 1 tier 1 is down is quite significant given it's 17 minutes in. And Liquid did draft a Chen. They also have a Darkseer, which is a pretty considerable pusher. And oh, they might find Black. They're going to go... Yep, Mike's going to have his smoke pop. There's a ward that goes down. They see Black. So they know the jig is up. Let's see how they want to play this out.
They get a free tower on bottom, though. And they don't really have any lockdown for Fada, which is actually very, very bad. The only one they have is Shackle. And without an early Sheepstick rush from Bulba, like we saw last game, it's going to be very difficult for them to kill this Queen of Pain. Unless... TC goes for an Abyssal, but that's going to be a long time coming.
They do manage to trade tier 1 for tier 1, but as you mentioned, Fada getting work done in bottom, just soaking up experience. He's going to have his second Oblivion staff up very soon, so not far at all from getting that Orchid completed. TC will show up to go ahead and take the farm that has been pushed towards his tower. The rest of Liquid is still hanging out up here, though, trying to deny farm, or at least safe farm, to that gyrocopter. Black is still about 1,000 gold away from his Mithril Hammer. Still needs another 13 on top of that to complete his BKB, so still quite a ways to go. Chikiro has his Arc Boots, not a whole lot much else. Koikfa, though, getting very close to his Shadow Blade. Should have it in just a couple hundred gold.
Yep, Mouse is looking really good in terms of farm right now. TC is slightly ahead of the Gyrocopter, about 900 gold, but the next 3 top net worth goes all to Mouse. Gyrocopter, Queen of Pain followed shortly behind by Koikfa, and then next is Darkseer and Windrunner. Windrunner is a little bit lower than I expected her to be. She had a couple of good ganks and nice shackles, but a couple of other extensions, the one right here in particular, as well as a buyback, really setting her behind in this net worth chart.
Totally agree. Really, I think they expected to get a bit more out of Bulba and Korok. And Bulba, you know, he died a few times, and that's a good play by Mouse, but, you know, you're a Darkseer. Darkseer usually doesn't have that much of a problem catching back up. He's actually picked up a Ghost Scepter, so Pipe isn't even being worked on right now, not even remotely. And that's worrisome. I mean, again, they have a lot of magic damage they can spam out, and if they're going to try to push, which they damn well need to, they're going to need the ability to survive through a lot of this magic damage output that Mouse is going to have. TC...
Especially without BKB heroes.
Exactly. And Skullbasher's the item choice for TC, so he's continuing to make progress, but Black, all things considered, is in great shape. He's just a few hundred gold behind him.
Oh, he actually skipped the BKB rush and actually going drum. So same build that he did on his Luna, opting for some early survivability with a casual Ogre Club and then completing his drums. So again, they need the mid-game presence though with the drums. I think it's a good item pickup.
Here we go. Tier 1 in mid, gonna be the target. Liquid trying to make something happen. Mech gonna be used. Here come the Treants trying to cut off the creep wave. And looks like they should be able to get to tier 1 at the very least. They do. Now, where to from here? I mean, this is a situation where normally you want to keep the pressure on. You do want to force fights. You want to get the most out of your Chin pickup and out of the Wild Wing Ripper. But TC, very far ahead now. He's going to engage on the Black. Black doesn't have his BKB. There's a hook and an Ice Path, though. He's going to be caught inside the cogs. What a disruption! Bailed him out, and now looking to re-engage. What a play from Mike. Bailing his buddy out. TC looking to clean house now. Ice Path will lock him down for the moment, but the Wild King Ripper cleans up the Shakiro with the Tornado. Poss now next on the list. Power shots off the mark. Korok is hurting considerably. Poss going to throw out a Rocket Flare. And not going to be enough to clean up Korok. Fada, though, back up and ready to roll. Will clean him up. And in the meantime, TC still being pursued out. Will go ahead and rage. Armlet toggling. He's looking to turn around. And, oh, Koikfa! Able to sprout himself in.
Koikfa, this is why he plays Dangerous Prophet. I mean, he's just, that was a nice self-sprout and just nice Shadow Blade play by him. And it was looking really bad for Mouse at that point, especially with a defensive disrupt on TC. But Mouse able to turn around even after suffering the death of their carry.
I honestly didn't catch it. Did Fada buy back there? I think he did.
I didn't catch it either. There was so much going on.
No, he didn't. According to the buyback status. Yeah, because he came back in. I'm going to guess he just bottled then. I saw him bail out.
Oh, he had a regen. That
explains it. Okay, never mind then. I was going to say not that bad for Liquid, even though it could have gone much, much better. But if he didn't buy back, then yeah, that's a good win for Mouz. And now they're going to engage. IX Mike being silenced. Another good shackle locks Synderen down. Don't know that it's enough, and it will not be to save IX Mike. Here comes the TP. Power shot does some damage. And Bulba arrives just in time to mourn the loss of his buddy. Mouz playing very well. I'll tell you what, though, man, that disruption from IX Mike was so good on TC. That was so good. Almost enough to turn that fight. Imagine how bad that fight would have been for Liquid if that hadn't happened.
Yeah, and the images of Nyx actually trapped Gyro inside the cog, especially with no phase boost. That was a very big disrupt. So things are looking pretty grim for Liquid, especially with the recent Orchid pickup on Queen of Pain. And they're in no position to do Roshan. Usually with an early Chen, with a Chen this early, you want to take out all 3 T1s, which has been completed, and then next you really want to get this Roshan. But it's a really bad place for them to fight. They have the Ice Path and the Dual Breath and Macropie from Jakiro, as well as being able to cog block them inside and gathering up for Queen of Pain ultimate. It's just a really bad place for them to fight, and they really need to win a couple of team fights before they have the presence to take Roshan out.
You just said cog block. That makes me laugh. 22 minutes, 47 seconds. The game time right now. We'll take a look at our goal graph, see where things stand. And eek, Liquid having their lead turned upside down as they now trail by nearly 3,000 gold. The experience well in favor of Mouz. And we both talked about it. I mean, Mouz has one of those teams that could just really find itself in trouble if they didn't get levels. Them leading that much in experience is so much more significant than their gold lead. I mean, the gold lead certainly helps, but the fact that they are so far ahead in experience is what's really giving them the ability to go toe-to-toe with Liquid's composition, even with the Chen on the board. Speaking of Chen, he did go ahead and pick up a Vlad's. So, not a bad item to have. Roche is going to be left at about a quarter health. We'll see if Liquid wants to engage this. They're definitely... Look at the two dancing Wild Wing Rippers using those whirlwinds, I believe is what they're actually called. Let's see, is it a tornado or a whirlwind? It is a tornado, my bad. Thought it was a whirlwind. But using those to help zone them out. Basically, just playing defense here. And, yeah, just look at him go. Still trying to chase him down. TC showing his face. There's a shackle. That was a nice attempt. You can definitely see what he was going for, hoping to just catch a random target uphill. Did not work. And the Dark Troll Summoner shows his face. Both teams kind of going back and forth here, wading around in the river. Roshan does not have a lot of life left. He's regened a bit. He's at about a quarter health, maybe a third. And
very precarious position for both teams.
Oh, Shackle doesn't latch, but the power shot hit a couple. Now there's going to be another good sprout from Koifa. Ice Path going to catch 3. Called out's going to be the follow-up. And Mouz catching Liquid with their hand in the cookie jar punishes them entirely. As we see a buyback from Bulba, but it's not going to be out in time. Liquid went for it. Saw a target of opportunity and pause. They all grouped up in the worst place in the map. You do not group up there if you can help it. And a beautiful turnaround by Mouz. 19-11, they're going to claim a Roshan because of it, and Liquid is hurting.
Synderen and Dota, that ice bath just really set things up.
So good. So good. Synderen, not going to lie, Synderen, I'm just going to say it. Synderen was in the carrier role for RDM when he was trying to launch that team. They were not very good. Synderen in the support role is looking like the Synderen of old. I am so happy to see him back in competitive Dota and really happy to see him playing these high-value supports.
Wow, that Roshan fight was really, really important. Both teams really have to just watch their positioning. If you run up the hill, you're going to get multiple man Ice Path, multiple man cogged into a Cauldron like we just saw, into a Queen of Pain ultimate. That's just very devastating. But on the other side, if Mouz grouped up and overextended a little bit too much, they just get 5-man vacuum wall and line up for Shackles. So this Roshan pit is just a death trap for either team. And Liquid with a slight bit of overextension there and paying heavily for that.
1,200 gold in the bank of black. He's got his BKB up and ready. We'll see what he wants to build next. If he wants to go straight up damage or if he wants to continue to stay ultra defensive and just go ahead and get his lifesteal up earlier rather than later. At this point, I actually would really like it if he started to build towards a MKB or something along those lines. I feel like he's plenty survivable, especially given the experience lead. The gold, again, is definitely in Mouz's favor, and that's excellent. Almost 7,500 gold ahead. But the experience at plus 14,000 in their favor, that's really the difference maker right now.
Yep, there's 3 people on Mouse that are very scary. Koifa almost has a sheep stick, so he has Hand of Midas, Shadow Blade, Ulti Orb, and 3,200 in the bank. So he's only 300 gold away from his Scythe of Vice. Look at Queen of Pain, 4,000 gold, and she just spent it on a BKB. So BKB, Orchid, Bottle, Treads. Fada's looking really good right now, and not to mention Black, who is notorious for farming, already has Treads, BKB, Aegis, Drums, and Magic Stick, as well as 1,700 in his inventory. So 3 heroes looking really good for Mouse. On the flip side, we have Liquid, only TC, but he's way behind the other 3, and looks like Korok's going to be quite a bit away from his items.
Gonna have a kill taking place. Had the camera there, don't worry. Didn't have to commentate it, because to be honest, it was just TC being out of position and being punished severely by Fada and Synderen. 20-11, Mouz, who really got ran out of game 1. Looking that they might be able to run Team Liquid here out of game 2. Liquid's going to have to get it together quick, fast, and in a hurry. Korok has picked up an Orchid, which is certainly going to help. Now Fluff going to be locked in with Poss. Poss, unfortunately, exceeding his grasp a little bit there. There's going to be the follow-up, though. Call down's going to help clean up Mike. Korok has to bail out as the rest of Mouz shows up. Bulba now, the target. BKB has been activated on Fada. It does wear off in the meantime. Here he goes. Shackle shot, bails his buddy out. Just in time. Homing missile will connect on Korok, and the Ice Path to follow it up. No good deed goes unpunished. He kept Bulba alive. The rest of Liquid, though, all dead and waiting for the respawn timer. Honestly, at this point, it's hard to imagine what they can do to turn it around. And I'll tell you where it all begins and ends is with this Chen pick. I have not felt the influence of a Chen this entire game. Just have not felt it at all.
Yeah, he did okay for the first, maybe like the rebuttal kill and the clockwork, but other than that, Chen hasn't really done that much. No clutch sendbacks and very few pushes early game, and they don't really have any solutions for Queen of Pain. Like, they banned Puck, but again, no silence or stun, just really in trouble. Oh, TC looking for Synderen.
Synderen pops the Ghost Scepter. Now we're going to have TC continue to get the kill. Black is going to be netted down through the BKB. That BKB should be wearing out. Yeah, he's just going to lose his Aegis, basically. The BKB was irrelevant. Now, he did use his BKB first, which means this is a free kill on the other side of that. That, kiddos, is why you never, ever, 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 ever use your BKB with an Aegis in your inventory. Save your BKB for when you respawn. That's when you want to use it. But
yeah.
Liquid able to get a couple of kills, but still in pretty dire straits. We can see, yeah, look at that little tick up. If you go to the goal graph, that is basically the biggest win Liquid has had in the last 10 minutes. That's how far behind they are.
I think he really needs a Manta style so he can prevent these single target disables through BKB. They have Purge from Shadow Demon, they have Bash from Lifestealer, soon to be Abyssal, only 2,000 gold away from his Relic, and fuck, I forgot what else there was. But I had one more in mind. Anyways, looks like there is a completed Scythe of Vice on Nature's Prophet. 800 gold in his inventory, so he's looking really, really good.
Oh, yeah. Koikfa having that Scythe of Vice makes such a difference, too. Being able to lock down heroes like a Windrunner, lock down a Darkseer, more importantly, lock down the Lifestealer in between rages. And TC does rage immediately. And that's just good game sense there. I'm going to guess he spotted that out. I didn't see how he would have spotted it out, but just realizing the jig was up, raging and teleporting away and extending his life a little bit longer.
Looks like Lifestealer is actually going for a Dezo. He has a Mithril Hammer instead of going for the Abyssal Rush.
Yeah, I saw that. Wasn't for sure, though. I mean, I don't know what else he would build with it, but I agree with you. I feel like Abyssal would be the obvious go-to item here. But nonetheless, Mithril Hammer in his inventory means he's going to need one more plus a 900 gold to get up. The Desolator, armor reduction's nice. I guess it's just, you know, when you look at Mouz's team, they're not a tanky team. I mean, the entire squad is just not that survivable. I mean, Clockwork, yeah, to an extent. But the rest of them, other than Gyro, who has just built survivability, is just easy to bring down. Gyro's going to be getting himself a Butterfly to cope with what I'm about to say, which is just he wants to be able to blow the Gyro up before he can kill the rest of his team with Flak Cannon. Now, Fluff's going to be silenced out and sprouted in. And using the mech to keep himself alive, he's got his creeps trying to buy some time, and he does manage to do so. But Mouz has reached that point where they've just invaded the Radiant side jungle, and there's very little that Liquid can do about it.
Yep, they have 2 BKBs up and running, and that is very, very problematic for Liquid. And they don't have any sort of Scythe of Vice. They only have Orchid on Winter, which is absolutely useless against BKB. Looks like Roshan, still 4 minutes until it respawns. I doubt Mouz will try and commit to a push, but it is possible.
So walk me through this, Merlini. Let's put you back in the captain's chair. We've talked about this before. Tell me where you are with your game plan if you're in Liquid shoes. What's your approach to trying to get this game under control in the late game?
They need to try and minimize these deaths that are happening everywhere around the map. They play very aggressively on TC, and now with the Orchid and a Scythe of Vice completed, they can shut them down if they can ever find them. So either they need to bait TC out or beat the aggressor and smoking and try and pick off these key heroes. The only problem with that is they don't really have any lockdown for Queen of Pain without an Abyssal and without a Scythe of Vice on Windrunner. And this is one of the very weak points about Orchid. It doesn't do anything against BKB. And as opposed to Scythe of Vice, where usually you can get the Scythe of Vice off before the BKB and look for pickoffs that way. But they need to employ the use of their smokes and try and pick off some of the weaker heroes or get a nice shackle before the BKB is popped.
Take a look at Bulba. Bulba's actually built a Blink Dagger. So just Liquid saying we don't want a pipe. We just do not want it at all. And so far, that magic damage coming out from Mouz has given them quite the lead. The gold is now up to about 14,000 their advantage. The experience did level off, but still right in that 20,000 territory. So continuing to play quite far behind Korok. Take a look at his inventory. He's got his Force Staff up. We saw him use that just a moment ago, trying to set himself up for a good shackle. Not a whole lot to report for Chen. He's been broke ever since he finished the Vlads. Mike, basic support items, got himself an urn at the very least. Lifestealer. As you mentioned, going for the Desolator. Gonna guess. Let's see. What's he... Where did his Mithril Hammer go? Is it in his inventory? No, it's not. I'm not sure where.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you built a BKB. That's what it is.
Oh. I have not seen this in a professional game. Never seen. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was just looking for the Desolator. Didn't even notice he had built a BKB. But yeah, been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, because he really is scared of that Orchid. That Orchid does cause a lot of problems for Nates. If you can get him before the Rage, he is almost certainly a dead man in a team fight. But Mouz just biding their time until Roshan is still about a little over a minute to go, and Black is very close to his Butterfly. Actually, he has it completed already.
Koikfa gonna go ahead and gank out Fluff, showing off the Scythe of Vice. There, if he is gonna be netted down. Fluff eating a lot of right click, uses the mech though, and he's gonna try to TP away. Ice Path not gonna allow that to happen. Another high value kill. And Mouz just everywhere they need to be. Looks like they may be about ready to push the tier 3. Black split pushing top, as you mentioned. Has his Butterfly, has his survivability. Did not even decide to go with any form of lifesteal, just not feeling it all that necessary. And this has just been all Mouz all the time, and this is the downside of drafting a Chen. You get a Chen, you got to make sure you accomplish a lot in the mid game with him. And I mean, he doesn't become useless in the late game, but you can't be playing a Chen and have no map control, you know what I mean?
And some people prefer Enchantress simply for this reason. If you do fail early game, at least Enchantress can have some mid to late game presence with Impetus and perhaps a Midas Scepter, which we've seen Fluff go. I've actually seen them rush a Scythe of Vice as well, and that would be really, really good for them. But with Chen, you're really forced to make a lot of early game impact on him. And it looks like Roshan is up in probably 30 seconds, and Black is already making his way over. So this will likely be an uncontested Roshan, but this is Liquid's best place to fight. Again, if they can get a nice vacuum wall combo, they can actually take this fight.
And Roche just about to respawn. The timepiece falls, and Mouz ready to jump on him. Liquid gonna have to get there quick, fast, and in a hurry. This Roche already down to half health. Double damage on Black certainly doesn't help. They're gonna get there late. Black's going to be able to pick this up. He's already got the inventory spot saved. And Poss blocking it off with Cogs just in case. So Black gets the free Aegis. Now we're going to have the engagement. BKB's pop. There's a hook that's going to catch Bulba. Bulba going to be locked down. There's a disruption trying to bail him out. TC comes out and pops his own BKB. Vacuumed into 3. The wall goes down, but Black's still up and firing. He did have the Demonic Purge cast on him, but it just doesn't matter. His damage was done to begin with. TC trying to get to Koikfa. Cannot do so. Turns, tries to heal up, but ends up dropping. Showed off the BKB. Nature's Prophet now has an MKB of his own. Would imagine Mouz at this point just about ready to do a victory lap. Koikfa feeling large and in charge. Disrupted by Mike, who is force-staffed away by Korok. But at this point, I mean, what can they do? They just can't do anything with that Lifestealer.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of kiting him. They have a Ghost Scepter pickup on him, on the supports, as well as like Stealth Sprout from Koikfa. They're just kiting TC very well. He's the most farmed hero on their team, and they're just dealing with him, kiting him extremely, exceptionally well, even with Rage and BKB, just unable to latch onto a target.
Down go the racks. Mouz Looking like they're about to tie this series up. I talked about it before. This is just what Mouz does. They're a team that is perennially considered an underdog in almost every top-tier match they play. But they still manage to find wins when they want and need them the most. And right now is absolutely no difference. There's a Shackle that catches a creep. Now they're going to be re-engaging onto Bulba. Bulba pops his Ghost Scepter, keeps him alive for a moment. There's an Ice Path that locks 2 down. They're going to follow this up. Call down's there, and here comes Queen of Pain. Living up to her name and sending Liquid packing here in game number 2. Bulba, one of the last 2 standing. He won't make it in, but let's see if the Orchid Dump shouldn't be enough, I don't think. Anyway, hook spent, doesn't matter. As they do manage to take down 2 sets of racks, now only the bottom set still standing. A little surprised that Liquid hasn't called the GG. Would imagine they're just talking it over, and we'll see them call it sometime real soon.
So it looked like Mouz will be dealing Liquid his first loss in the Cursed Invitational. Very strong play by Mouz. I like their lineup, and Black seems to be fairly comfortable in Gyrocopter. I haven't seen him play it too often, and Pos very comfortable in Clockwork. We had our doubts before the game started, but playing extremely well all throughout the game.
Yep, I'm going to give Pos all the credit in the world, man. I was not a believer. I simply was not a believer. Just because I hadn't seen him play that hero all that much. And running him in the support role by itself is a little bit of a risky proposition for reasons we've already very well covered. But the way it works out, Mouz stabilized, and what makes it even more impressive is it's not like Mouz came out and took the lead 5-0 and just rolled. They held the line. They were not in the best of shape, held it together, and managed to put together a very impressive 37-minute, 39-second win. The kill score, 2-1. Excuse me, actually 30-15, but hey, you know what? We keep it easy with the math around here. I'm AC, joined by Merlini for the broadcast. Mouz turns the bagel into a breadstick and forces a Game 3, as Merlini had said, dealing Team Liquid their first loss of the entire Invitational so far. We got Game 3 of this best of 3 coming up next. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back.